Hello, my name is Logan Pierce. This is my daughter, Natalie. Today we're going to talk to you about garden boxes. Did you ever want to garden but feel like you weren't able to due to a lack of space, energy, or time? We're going to talk about a revolutionary way to grow your own produce at home without weeds or wasting water. Whether or not you're sold on this method of gardening, I hope that it can at least prompt you to grow your own produce through whatever method works best for you. According to the National Gardeners Association, 35% of all American households are growing food at home or in a community garden, which is an increase of 17% in 5 years. The report also shows that millennials are the fastest growing group when it comes to gardening. In 2008, there were 8 million millennial food gardeners, and that figure rose to 13 million in 2013, which is an increase of 63%. My family had a garden growing up. I remember weeding and tilling the soil, but I don't remember ever growing much of anything. In spite of our efforts, the labor required to maintain a garden was often more than we were able to manage. A garden can be a lot of work, but it can also be easy if you know the different methods available. My parents switched to container box gardening more than a decade ago. They found that the plastic covering over the box meant they never had to deal with weeds. They loved that the boxes were portable, and unlike traditional gardening, they could move their garden boxes inside to extend the growing season. The one issue they had was being available to water the garden every day. When my parents had 30 boxes in a row, it'd take about a minute to fill up each water reservoir in the box. This may not sound like a lot for one box, but when you have 30 boxes, it takes half an hour. In the summer, they'd have to do it twice a day, once in the morning and then again in the late afternoon. They were spending an hour a day just to keep their garden watered. So my mom saw this and asked me, is there any way that we can have a garden that doesn't mean me having to be out here every day watering? And so in a stroke of genius, my dad realized that if the boxes were connected by tubing, they could then share their water reservoirs. And if a string of boxes were connected to a faucet or rain barrel, then the boxes could go without manual watering indefinitely. The one issue is how to prevent overwatering, so my dad came up with a centralized watering system, which utilized a float valve just like in the toilet tank. Now you no longer had to worry about overwatering and underwatering because the plants were watering themselves. Just like you can see in here, there's a little float valve in it. Let's get the angle there. There we go. Float valve there, and then this hooks up to a faucet or rain barrel. There are plenty of health benefits associated with gardening. You have an abundance of fresh fruit and vegetables, which can improve your overall health. Picking produce provides exercise, though it should be noted that gardening in a box doesn't burn as many calories when compared to the weeding and daily watering associated with more traditional gardens. You think so, Natalie? In addition to being good for us, container garden boxes are also good for the environment. The plastic covering prevents you from losing water due to evaporation. Container gardens use a fraction of the water required for traditional gardening. And unlike hydroponics or aquaponics, there's no chemicals to measure or any electricity involved. The watering system is gravity fed, and when you grow your own food, you purchase less produce from the store, which means you avoid excessive plastic packaging. And speaking of purchasing, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average, I know statistics make me yawn too. The average American household spends $6,759 on food annually. And of that, $756 is spent on fruits and vegetables. $2,787 is spent on eating out. So hundreds, if not thousands of dollars can be saved annually just by simply choosing to grow your own garden. My parents have been using the same boxes for more than a decade. A kit of 3 boxes they put together, they sell for just $200. But when you break that cost down over 10 years, it comes to just $20 per year, or less than $7 per box. Now, the National Gardeners Association estimates that a well-maintained food garden yields 1 pound of produce for every 2 square feet per growing season. Now, this is anecdotal evidence, but my parents yield an average of 10 pounds of produce per box per growing season, like for the tomatoes, for example. That's 10 times the average. They aren't alone either. Dozens of people for whom my parents have set up similar container gardens have reported having similar results. I know that when my wife and I had a tomato garden in our backyard, we were getting tomatoes like regular every growing season, getting a pound a week. And it's not as though my parents are doing anything special themselves. They just created a closed system where the plants can grow better, faster, and easier. The plants never have their progress slowed because they're waiting for more water. The container boxes provide the plants with a weed-free space which has constant access to sun and water. And as long as you include the right amount of fertilizer and dolomite, you got the recipe for a foolproof garden. President Spencer W. Kimball said, "We encourage you to grow all the food that you feasibly can on your own property. Berry bushes, grapevines, fruit trees. Plant them if your climate is ripe for their growth. Grow vegetables and eat them from your own yard. Even those residing in apartments or condominiums can generally grow a little food in pots and plants. Study the best methods of providing your own foods." Well, my parents have been studying the methods for gardening on their own for years. And for us, container boxes work the best. Here's an example of what my dad's been able to grow. There's my dad, and corn he was able to grow, and tomatoes. You can see all the roots are down there in the system themselves. So I can testify that this method does work for us. We haven't found anything easier. And so it would just be what I would just encourage everyone to do is to do their own research, investigate the different gardening methods, find out what works best for you, and then do it. Because whether or not you garden this way or garden your own way, whether it's aquaponics, hydroponics, traditional gardening, or container boxes like what my family and I do, the important thing is to just find something that you like, something that you can commit to, and do it, because I can promise you the fruits of growing your own garden are beautiful, and you'll feel that sense of self-reliance as you take that step to manage more of what you put into your own body. And just in closing, I'd like to say that it's good not just for you, but for your family as well, because you have that added satisfaction of knowing that you're taking care of them and giving them the best. And that's really what life's all about. So I want to thank you for listening today, and just encourage everybody to grow their own garden. Have a nice day.